Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? And then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have, of playing that you weren't God. Because the whole nature of the Godhead, according to this idea, is to play that he's not. The first thing he says to himself is, man, get lost. Because he gives himself away. The nature of love is self-abandonment, not clinging to oneself. Throwing yourself out, as in, for example, in basketball, you're always getting rid of the ball. You say to the other fellow, have a ball. And that keeps things moving. That's the nature of life. So in this idea then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality. Not God in a politically kingly sense, but God in the sense of being the self, the deep down basic whatever there is. And you're all that, only you're pretending you're not.
So do you ever get, when you listen to a song, do you ever get this warm, positive, almost butterfly feeling in your stomach of just things just feel really good?
Absolutely.
Oddly better and euphoric than most other moments of the day.
Absolutely. Honestly, I feel this feeling very often. I feel like I don't really hear anybody talking about it that much. It's such an amazing feeling.
No, and that's why I was legitimately wondering, am I the only person that feels this? Because I can't really put it into words. It's not really a thing that can be summed up with a definition. I know people who are religious, people say it's a God wink, it's a moment of the universe / God, whatever. And it feels like for me, the universe makes me feel supported. It's a little nudge of yeah, you're on the right path. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
It makes you feel so powerful.
It does, but you're calm. You're powerful, but you're calm.
So happy.
Yeah, it
almost
smile thinking.
Yes, so smiley. But for me, for some reason, more than smiley, it almost brings me to tears.
Yes,
actual tears. The complete opposite of sad tears.
Yes, I think it's because it touches a part of your soul that not many things can have access to. During the day, when I interact with other people, whatever I'm doing, whether I'm eating or I'm at the gym, things don't usually hit me that deep, and then a moment will happen, and it's out of the blue. I can't even explain it. It's not deja vu, but it's something that can be compared to that because it's not able to be described in words. I feel oh my gosh, this song just hits me in the soul. I feel I don't know.
That's the biggest thing, I think, is music.
Yes, yes.
If I had to explain it to somebody, the most common way I think people would feel it is through music.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, this could be totally false, but I think it comes from, because everybody kind of, not getting sciencey or university, but like everyone hovers over a certain frequency. Like everybody's this certain energy in the greater electromagnetic field, whether you believe in science or religion or whatever. And I think that a lot of the songs that hit certain people certain ways has a lot to do with your frequency, like your level of existing. And a song sometimes matches that or hits close to it. And I think that's why you feel it. Again, this could be totally false. This is just like my own brain coming up with things.
Another time that I feel it are movies, when I watch movies.
Yes.
And there's just something that is just so inspiring to you. Like you see someone doing something, someone like accomplishing something, or just like a moment between two characters.
Yes.
And you just feel the exact emotion that they're feeling.
Yes.
And it just like takes over your body and you're like, holy shit.
Where did that come from? It's like you just got like hit. I was gonna say like stabbed in the heart, but that's honestly not the feeling I was going for.
If I watch a dance choreography, that gets me too.
Yes.
Like you just like feel what they feel in their body when they're dancing. Like
it's coming through them. Like the whatever
it
they're
radiates
feeling,
off.
We use words so much in our everyday life. We don't use creative expression quite as much. So when we see something, like I'm sure paintings do it for some people. I feel it like you with music, especially like a live show, like a live musical.
Live performances.
Oh, it gives me the chills thinking about it.
Yes.
It's an emotional experience.
Yes.
Whatever mood I'm in, whatever stress I'm having, it just brings me back to myself. And it's only for a quick second. It's not usually...
It doesn't last long.
No,
it only lasts like 5 seconds and then it's done.
So you can pay attention to it when it happens.
Yeah, so once you notice it, like when it starts happening, like you have to just completely embrace that moment and be like,
stop what you're doing.
Like
feel whatever it is that you're feeling.
That's complete awareness right there.
Yes.
Like,
yes, I'm so glad you said that. That's like, I was trying to figure, like, trying to like weave my way to the top.
That's complete,
awareness.
Full 100% awareness.
Yes. It's funny that it doesn't happen when we're just sitting there watching TV. It doesn't happen. It's an experience that moves us in a place where no one else can touch. And it doesn't happen over electronics for me. Like,
it's something that can't be taught.
Right.
It's something that you can't force yourself to feel.
Yeah.
It's something that, someone can't make it happen for you.
No, and you can't predict it.
No, it just happens.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, and it needs to be appreciated more than I think people think.
Like people spend, 8 to 10 hours a day rushing to make a paycheck, time with their significant other, time cooking, time going to the gym. Like those things don't give you that feeling. Those are all good things, but like prioritizing those things over this feeling, over opportunities where you can take a step out of who you are and come back to the center of your being is a huge thing that people often overlook. Just some thoughts. When I post on Instagram, just like a random like thing in my caption, I'll just end it with like, just some thoughts with a little peace sign. Just some things that were floating around the old noggin. It's important, and like, if people do feel it, I think it helps to talk about it. It makes it better the next time when you do talk about it.
It's fun to talk about with people too, like the experiences that you have.
Yes.
Because you're bonding over something that makes you feel absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and something you mutually understand, but you can't describe using words. Like we try, but to some degree, it's like you just have to feel it to know.
Yeah, it's like some people might watch this video and be like, I'm sorry, what are you guys talking about? And then others, like as soon as they start watching, I feel like they'll know exactly.
Well, and I guess like someone who has more of a yoga perspective too, because this is another way of, I guess, explaining it for people who don't understand or maybe haven't taken notice to it before. Someone who's high into yoga and knows about chakras, it has to do with opening the pineal gland, which they say is like your third eye, which is like the metaphorical third eye, which is right here. They say you do that by like not eating processed foods and drinking clean water and moving and all those things. But it could be compared to opening a chakra or keeping like whatever chakra you're having blocked, which is like certain areas of your body, they say, are different chakras. If you have a blockage of some sort, and they each correspond to different things. Maybe if you have a blockage in your throat chakra, that's the one that like I typically have. I'm not as good at listening as I am talking, and so I get blocked there. So sometimes when that music or dancing or whatever it is hits me, it almost
kind of like opens up and
yeah.
like gets things flowing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think you wouldn't be able to do that unless you are unless you are aware of what we're talking about right now.
For sure.
Like if you just like if it just happens. It just happen
out of nowhere.
Yeah, like if it just happens and like you don't pay attention to it and you just let it pass.
Yeah.
You're not fully fulfilling the full opportunity. I feel like that it's like giving you, it's like giving you like inspiration to like push.
Yeah. And like I think that if that's something that you're confused on or you don't know how to look for or whatever, there's a really good book by Liz Gilbert called Big Magic, and she discusses creativity as an energy that arrives to you with an idea, an inspiration, something like that. And it's up to you if you want to cling to that idea or if you say this is not the right time and that idea goes to somebody else. Like you ever think of something and then you see someone else doing it and you're like, I thought of that, but that person doesn't know me in real life, so how would they know that? She kind of explains it like that, and she has some real life examples of how that's manifested in her life. But it's almost like an epiphany, people would say. Like I woke up and had an epiphany of some sort.
Yeah.
That's almost the clarity that comes from it. I feel like I'm a better person when that kind of stuff happens to me. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't really like the way that I handled that situation or I communicated in that situation. And then when that happens, I feel so good. Like I'm floating.
Yes.
Like I'm on a cloud. Yeah.
That's good. I like all that. I feel like we could keep pretty much all of that in there, right?
I think so too. I really like it.